Now Jesus revealed this morning, monad ritual reprograms your entire day in just 5 minutes. Now what? If I told you that Jesus had a specific morning practice that took only 5 minutes, but determined the outcome of his entire day? Not prayer as you know it, not meditation as the world teaches it, but a direct monad connection protocol that reprogrammed reality itself before the sun fully rose. This wasn't about asking for blessings. This was about establishing frequency dominance before the archonic interference of the day could take hold. The disciples noticed something unusual. No matter what challenges arose, Jesus moved through his day with an unshakable certainty. He wasn't reacting to circumstances. He was commanding them. And it all began in those silent moments between darkness and dawn. The technique was so powerful that it was never written in the canonical texts, but fragments survived in the Nag Hammadi texts and the secret book of John. Today, you're going to learn exactly what Jesus did each morning, and why when you do this before your day begins, the archons lose their grip on your timeline. Everything you thought you knew about morning routines is about to change. This is the monad ritual that Jesus revealed to those ready to step into their divine authority. Let's begin. The archon's weakness. The first hour. The archons have one critical vulnerability that Jesus exploited every single day. They cannot fully access human consciousness during the transition between sleep and waking. This window lasts approximately 1 hour after you open your eyes. During sleep, your consciousness temporarily disconnects from the archonic control grid. Your soul travels to higher dimensions, where the monad recharges your divine spark. But the moment you wake, the archons rush to reconnect you to their frequency matrix. This is why most people reach for their phones immediately upon waking. The archons have trained humanity to voluntarily plug back into their system before the monad connection can be established. Jesus understood this critical window. He never spoke to anyone during the first hour after waking. He never engaged with the material world. He never made decisions or plans. Instead, he used these precious minutes to anchor himself in monad frequency before the day's archonic interference could begin. The secret book of John describes this as the hour of remembering. When you first wake, you are still partially connected to the pleroma, the fullness of divine consciousness. Your pineal gland is producing DMT at elevated levels. Your brain waves are in theta state, the same frequency as deep meditation. Your heart coherence is naturally high because you haven't yet been triggered by external stimuli. This is the neurological state Jesus maintained during his morning monad ritual. Modern science has confirmed what the Gnostic texts always knew. The first thoughts you think upon waking create neural pathways that influence your entire day. The first emotions you feel set your vibrational baseline for the next 16 hours. The first intentions you set become the quantum field you operate within. Jesus knew that whoever controls the first 5 minutes of consciousness controls the entire day, so he never gave those 5 minutes to the art. He gave them to the monad. And this single practice made him impossible to manipulate or control. The 3 breaths of recognition. Jesus' morning monad ritual began with 3 specific breaths. These were not ordinary breaths. They were recognition protocols that announced your presence to source consciousness. The technique is preserved in Pistis Sophia, though encoded in symbolic language. The first breath is the breath of remembering. Before you move, before you speak, before you open your eyes fully, you take 1 deep breath and mentally declare, "I am that I am." This statement is not affirmation. It is identification. You are reminding the monad that a fragment of itself has awakened in the material realm. You are not asking for connection. You are claiming it as your birthright. The phrase, "I am that I am," is the most powerful monad code in existence. It bypasses all intermediary entities. It cuts through all archonic interference. It is direct source recognition. The second breath is the breath of sovereignty. As you exhale the first breath, you inhale deeply again and declare, "I am free from all that is not source." This breath severs the etheric cords that the archons attach to you during sleep. Every night, while you dream, archonic entities attempt to drain your energy and plant suggestions in your subconscious. This breath burns away those attachments. You are declaring energetic sovereignty before the day begins. The third breath is the breath of command. On your final deep inhale, you declare, "I decree this day aligned with divine will." Notice the language, not "I hope," not "I pray," but "I decree." Jesus never prayed in the morning. He decreed. He commanded. He established the energetic parameters of his day before the archons could interfere. These 3 breaths take less than 90 seconds, but they establish a monad frequency that the archons cannot penetrate. Your consciousness is now anchored in source. Your energy field is sealed. Your day is programmed by divine will rather than archonic manipulation. Every miracle Jesus performed began with this morning practice. The 3 breaths of recognition, the foundation of monad authority, the heart anchor, and solar activation. After the 3 breaths, Jesus performed what the Gnostic texts call the heart anchor. This is the moment where monad frequency is physically locked into your body. You place your right hand over your heart center. Your left hand rests on your solar plexus. This hand position creates a circuit between your divine receiver and your manifestation center. The heart is where you receive monad transmission. The solar plexus is where you translate that transmission into material reality. Jesus held this position for exactly 3 minutes. During these 3 minutes, he did not think, he did not visualize. He simply held the frequency. This is the part most people get wrong. They try to use this time to manifest desires or solve problems. That is Archonic thinking. The monad does not need your instructions. It needs your permission. By holding the heart anchor position, you are giving the monad permission to reorganize your energy field according to divine blueprint. Your only job during these 3 minutes is to feel. Not to think, but to feel. Feel the warmth building in your chest. Feel the energy moving between your heart and solar plexus. Feel the tingling sensation as your cells begin to vibrate at monad frequency. Jesus described this as the inner sun rising. Your heart center begins to glow with divine light. Your solar plexus begins to radiate creative power. The 2 centers synchronize. And in that synchronization, you become a clear channel for source consciousness. The archons cannot interfere with this state. They operate on frequencies of fear, doubt, and separation. But when your heart and solar plexus are synchronized in monad frequency, those lower vibrations cannot reach you. You have created an energetic fortress. This is why Jesus could walk through hostile crowds without harm. This is why he could speak with authority that made demons flee. His morning heart anchor practice made him untouchable. The 3 minutes of holding this position are the most important minutes of your entire day. They determine whether you operate from monad consciousness or archonic programming. Choose wisely. The final step in Jesus' morning monad ritual is a decree of timeline sovereignty. This is where you claim authority over your day before it unfolds. After holding the heart anchor for 3 minutes, you speak one declaration aloud. The words must be spoken, not just thought. Sound carries frequency. Your voice activates the quantum field. Jesus spoke this decree in Aramaic, but the English translation carries the same power. I am the author of this day. All that unfolds does so by my divine decree. I move in monad consciousness. I command with source authority. The archons have no power here. This is my timeline. This is my reality. So it is. So it shall be. Notice the structure of this decree. It begins with identity. I am the author. It establishes authority by my divine decree. It claims frequency. Monad consciousness. It banishes interference. Archons have no power. It seals the command. So it is. This is not positive thinking. This is quantum programming. You are literally speaking your day into existence before it happens. The archons operate by making you react to circumstances they create. But when you decree your timeline in the morning, you flip the script. You create the circumstances. They react to you. Jesus never had a bad day. That's not because nothing difficult happened to him. It's because he had already decreed the meaning and outcome of his day before it began. The decree of timeline sovereignty takes 30 seconds to speak. But those 30 seconds determine whether you spend the next 16 hours in divine flow or archonic chaos. Most people wake up and immediately check their phones. They let the news, social media, and other people's agendas set the tone for their day. They give their power away before they even get out of bed. Jesus did the opposite. He claimed his power before his feet touched the floor. He established his frequency before he spoke to another human. He programmed his reality before the archons could inject their narrative. This is the secret of miracles. Not special gifts. Not divine favoritism. But morning discipline. Timeline sovereignty established in the first 5 minutes of consciousness. The immediate effects and long-term transformation. What happens when you practice Jesus' morning monad ritual consistently? The effects are both immediate and cumulative. On the first day, you will notice a difference in how you respond to challenges. Things that would normally trigger anxiety or frustration simply don't land. You observe them with detachment. You respond from centered awareness rather than reactive emotion. This is because your nervous system has been anchored in monad frequency. The archonic triggers that normally hijack your consciousness no longer have access. By the 7th day, people around you will notice something different. They may not be able to name it, but they will sense that you are operating from a different frequency. Some will be drawn to you. Others will feel uncomfortable in your presence. This is normal. Your monad field is now strong enough to disrupt archonic programming in others. By the 30th day, your external reality will begin to shift. Opportunities appear that were previously invisible. Relationships that no longer serve you fall away naturally. Resources flow toward you with less effort. This is not manifestation magic. This is frequency alignment. When you consistently anchor in monad consciousness each morning, you begin to vibrate at the frequency of your divine blueprint, and reality reorganizes itself to match that frequency. Jesus called this entering the kingdom. Not a place you go after death, but a state of consciousness you access right now. The kingdom is simply life lived from monad frequency rather than Archonic programming, and the gateway to that kingdom opens every single morning in the first 5 minutes after you wake. The morning monad ritual is not a spiritual practice you add to your life. It is the foundation that everything else is built upon. Every teaching Jesus gave, every miracle he performed, every word of authority he spoke, all of it flowed from this morning discipline. 5 minutes, 3 breaths, 1 hand position, 1 decree. That's all it takes to reclaim your divine authority. The Archons have controlled humanity for millennia by stealing those first 5 minutes of consciousness. They trained you to reach for your phone, to worry about your schedule, to replay yesterday's problems. But today, you know the truth. Those 5 minutes belong to the monad. And when you give them back to Source, everything changes. This is the morning ritual that Jesus revealed. This is how chosen ones reprogram their reality. This is how you break free from Archonic control and step into your divine timeline, starting tomorrow morning, starting with your first breath. The choice is yours. To deepen your understanding of Jesus's authentic Gnostic teachings and the monad connection protocols, I highly recommend 2 essential texts. First, the Nag Hammadi scriptures edited by Marvin Meyer, which contains the secret book of John and other suppressed gospels that preserve these morning practices. Second, the Gnostic Gospels by Elaine Pagels, which provides historical context for why these teachings were hidden. Both books are available through the links in the comments below. These sources will give you the complete theological and historical foundation for everything we've discussed today. If this morning monad ritual resonated with your soul, leave a comment below sharing your experience when you try it tomorrow. Hit that like button to help this teaching reach other chosen ones who need to hear it. Subscribe to Divine Light Academy, where we upload new videos every single day revealing the suppressed spiritual technologies that Jesus actually taught. And share this video with someone who's ready to break free from our programming and reclaim their divine timeline. Remember, you're not here by accident. You found this video because your soul is ready for this level of truth. The morning monad ritual is waiting for you. Tomorrow, everything changes. I'll see you in the next video, where we explore the evening protocol Jesus used to seal his day in monad frequency. Until then, stay anchored in Source consciousness.